Everybody, this is Dream. We have a massive 12 game slate here, just a bunch of games. This slate is full of craziness, lots of injuries today, lots of players to take a look at here. So let's go ahead and get into the injury report. Actually, let's first do the my picks for each game. I have Memphis over Charlotte, Cleveland over Phoenix, Thunder over the Magic, the Philadelphia 76ers over Indiana. I have the Knicks over the Spurs. I have Milwaukee over Toronto, Brooklyn over Chicago, Pelicans over Houston, the Portland Trailblazers over Minnesota, Detroit over the Warriors, Miami over the Lakers, and Sacramento over Atlanta. So those are my picks here. Let's go ahead and get into the injury report here. For the Suns, Booker and Cam Johnson are out. For the Cavaliers, Garland is doubtful, Mobley is questionable, and Wade is out. For that situation, if Garland is out again, that's going to really make LeVert look really good, as well as potentially Donovan Mitchell, though his price point has come way up on DraftKings. Then we're going to look at the Thunder. Shea Alexander is questionable. If he is out, then we're gonna be running out a bunch of Oklahoma City guys again. But at this point, we don't know that yet. But we'll find out. Pokuševski is out, and Robinson Earl is out. For the Magic, Suggs is out. Wagner is out. Wagner is out. Bowl is out, and Okeke is out. That's both Wagners, Franz Wagner and Mo Wagner. With all those guys out, then they've got like 9 guys, I think, for today. For the Pacers, Duarte is questionable and Jackson is out. For the Grizzlies, Clark is out and Aldama is questionable. For the Hornets, Oubre is out and Hayward is doubtful. For the Spurs, Basley is out and Vassell is questionable. For the Knicks, Barrett is out and Rose is questionable. Presuming that Quickly continues to start, he'll be a good play today. For the Bucks, Giannis and Drew Holiday are both questionable. Ingles is doubtful. Hill is questionable and Middleton is out. Depending on how those injuries play out, that could really open up a lot of value, especially with Portis if Giannis sits today. For the Raptors, Porter is out. For the Rockets, Tate is out. For the Pelicans, Zion, Ingram, and Nance are all out. That opens up a lot of guys already, since they guys are already out, and so you'll hear about those guys in the when I go through the players. For the Nets, O'Neal is probable. For the Bulls, Green is out and Drummond is probable. For the Warriors, Winslow is out and Nurkic is probable. For the Timberwolves, Reed and Prince are questionable. Towns and McLaughlin are out. For the Pistons, Cunningham and Bagley are out. For the Warriors, Wiggins, Curry, Kuminga, Jam Green, and Wiseman are out. That obviously opens up a lot of opportunity for a lot of guys. For the Heat, Jovic is out, Denman is questionable, and Hero is probable. For the Lakers, LeBron is questionable, Westbrook is probable, Davis is out, and Walker the fourth is questionable. Depending on LeBron's status, that could open up some value for a lot of guys, especially potentially Westbrook. And for the Hawks, Capella is out. So we have a ton of injuries. That's one of the biggest injury lists I think I've ever seen. With that said, let's get into the players we do like today. I actually have 4 guys in my core play section here. We're going to start with Jalen Brunson. He projects really well today. He looks like he's been playing pretty solid lately. He's had a couple off games, but his price point is relatively in the same realm that it normally is in, and he's got a nice plus matchup here against the Spurs, and he should be good to go in this one. He had a pretty good game last game against Phoenix, and I expect that to continue. The Knicks have had a couple guys that are just playing, I guess 3 or 4 guys are playing extremely well, and so I do like him in this matchup. I like the Knicks a lot here overall. Then we're looking at Trey Murphy for the Pelicans. Now, you don't really need to worry about the recent games so much. You just need to worry about the games when Zion is out. And when we have those games, we see that he has 33, 36, 26 fantasy points. With Zion and Ingram both out, he plays a lot of minutes. He even had 40 minutes against Oklahoma City the last time. He's got a great price here at $4,800. His price had risen up a little bit due to those games, but it's come back down since he hasn't played as much in the last few games. But this is kind of how he goes. He's very dependent on other guys being out to get a full complement of minutes, but he's going to get that today, so he's a great play. Then we're going to look at Karis LeVert. Here, he's going to have a good opportunity again because it looks like there's going to be injuries to the Cavs. However, his price did pop up some. almost didn't make him a core play because of that, but he's still viable on the slate with the price because he really has more upside than he got in the game against Chicago. Though this is another tough opponent against Phoenix, but he is still viable here. Then we'll look at Emmanuel quickly. He's been playing absolutely great basketball the last few games. As long as he keeps starting, he's going to be a guy that you got to take a look at, though his price has popped up some. But when he starts and stuff, he has 50 fantasy point upside, and his price is just too cheap. He's also rating as one of the best defensive players in the NBA right now. Then we're going to continue with the other guys I like here. Cole Anthony for Orlando. With all the injuries, or guys out rather due to suspensions and stuff, he's going to have plenty of opportunity in this game. He's had some ups and downs lately, but overall his price is still pretty good here, and he's got a nice matchup against Oklahoma City. Then we're going to look at CJ McCollum, and he was very close to being a core play as well. I just didn't want to have so many guards, to be honest. But when those guys are out, Ingram and Zion, he's going to take more shots. And as you can see here, he had 3 huge games the last time that those guys were out, and so I expect that to continue here. Not only that, but it's a nice plus matchup. I'm actually going to say he's a core play as well, because he really is. Just didn't have him here initially. Klay Thompson, man, he's been playing really good lately. Especially with everybody out for the Warriors, he's having to pick up minutes, and his price is still a little bit cheap for what he can do here. I expect him to be in the 40 fantasy point range with Curry and everybody out, and even though his price has come up a little bit, it's still viable on the slate. And then Donovan Mitchell, I'm mentioning him. I don't really think he's a great play today because it's a tough matchup against Phoenix, but he had a massive 71-point game last game out against Chicago, and I expect him to have some sort of good game as well. His price obviously is pretty high, but with injuries there, he should still get a full complement of minutes and have another opportunity for a massive game. And so I do think he's somebody to take a look at. Then we're going to look at the forwards, and Najee Marshall here for Pelicans. He has been pretty good in these games when these guys are out. He hasn't been quite as good as Trey Murphy, but with all the injuries there, he's going to have some opportunity to get around 30-35 minutes a game, and I expect him to have a good one in this matchup. Then we're going to look at Gary Trent Jr., and if he continues to start, which he's been starting, I expect him to have a good game here. His price is still just too cheap when he's in this position. Obviously, there's some possibility that guys come back today, so if that's the case, then he may not actually be that great of a play. But right now, it looks like he's still in a good spot. Jaden McDaniels is also pretty interesting today for Minnesota. For some reason, I have a wrong price on him, so never mind him. Sorry about that, guys. I thought he was $4,400, but apparently he's $5,300. Anyhow, he's been playing pretty good, but I don't love the price at this price point. He's still okay with all the injuries to the Timberwolves, but he's not as great as I thought he would be. Herbert Jones for the Pelicans, he's been playing extremely well with guys out as well, and I expect him to have a big game today, actually. His price has come up a little bit due to his recent games, but he had gotten hurt too, so he's just back for the last 2 games, and I expect him to have a good game in this one with the injuries to the team. And then we're going to look at Julius Randle here for the Knicks. It's $10,500. He has been absolutely consistent and dominating for a while here, which is pretty wild. He's been getting lots of rebounds every game, and his price point has popped all the way up to $10,000. I don't think he's a must-play by any stretch of imagination, but I like the consistency and getting over 60 fantasy points game after game after game. And for a little while, they were having trouble getting wins, but they're starting to get some wins. And so that'll keep propelling him to play hard, and that's what we want to see from him. Then we'll look at centers, and we're going to look at Steven Adams here for Memphis. He's clearly playing pretty well lately. His minutes have kind of increased the last 3 games, and he's played extremely well in those games, getting at just a massive amounts of rebounds. And this is another situation where he's going to have a good opportunity to do that against a team that shoots the ball a lot, jump shots a lot. So I expect him to continue that. Then we're going to look at Valanciunas for Pelicans. Now, he does get more upside because of Zion being out, but he does have some inconsistencies. Sometimes he still doesn't always get all the minutes. Sometimes he still stays in the 25-minute range, and some of the other guys takes the mantle. But he does have a higher floor in a game like this where those guys are out, and it's a nice plus matchup for him. Then we're going to also look at Hernan Gomez for the Pelicans. Now, I almost didn't even consider this guy, but I looked at his stats, and anytime he's getting over 15 minutes, he's having big games, for his price, which is pretty wild. So he is somebody to take a look at. Could be interesting if he ends up drawing a start or something like that. But obviously, just somebody to kind of keep an eye on. And then we're going to go over to FanDuel here, and we're going to start with our point guards. I really don't like FanDuel that much today. Some of the guys are priced pretty good, but overall it seems a little bit overpriced. Jalen Brunson does look like he's in a pretty good spot. His price at $7,500. He hasn't been perfect, and he missed a few games lately, but he should be good to go here. Then we'll look at quickly for the Knicks. Now his price point is a little bit over what we want it to be here, but he has some big time upside, assuming he ends up starting. But he is a little bit more risky with Brunson at this price point. And then De'Aaron Fox looks really good here on FanDuel at his price. He's had some really good games lately. He's had a couple off games as well, but his price is reasonable enough that he's somebody to consider on this particular slate because he does have some big time upside in this matchup. Then we'll look at Herb Jones for New Orleans. Now he's been playing well when these guys are out. He missed a few games recently though, but he has some upside due to his situation where he should be a potential starter in this matchup. And then Najee Marshall also looks very interesting here for New Orleans. He has some upside due to the injuries there, especially with Zion out, and I expect him to play well. Same goes for Trey Murphy for New Orleans here. His price is actually just too cheap for his potential in this game. He's probably my favorite player on FanDuel overall. And then Kevin Looney for Golden State. He has been playing well with all the injuries there, and he should continue to play well here. He had a really big game last time. Now, he is inconsistent with the minutes, but his minutes should be there today with the guys out at the power forward / center position. Julius Randle also looks pretty interesting on FanDuel because his price is still under $10,000, which is a little bit surprising. But overall, he's been hitting that mark almost every single game, and he's been playing really well lately, and he's got a plus matchup here as well. And then Domantas Sabonis for Sacramento also looks interesting here on FanDuel. Though he has not quite been hitting 50 fantasy points last 3 games, he's been hitting a lot before that, and he's got some nice upside in this plus matchup. And then Jonas Valanciunas, who's probably the safest center, except for the fact that his minutes are always inconsistent. He has some big time upside in this matchup simply because of all the injuries to the Pelicans, and I think he's viable on the slate. So with that said, guys, that's what I have for you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing, and have a nice day, guys.